This is just a recap of what we talked about in class on Friday during the deluge. I wanted to talk about adding texture using the brush tool. This is part of a larger lecture that we'll do when we reach week 8, but I felt like some of you are far enough ahead and could maybe benefit from this for your projects. So we're going to use the brush tool and the draw inside tool to add texture to some items. And using the brush tool to do this, the paintbrush tool, it's right here. When we use the paintbrush tool, we are talking about the stroke. You don't use the paintbrush. Well, let me keep going and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to work with the cat, all right? And this practice file, week 5 brush practice tool, as well as a folder called brushes. Here it is, brushes, is inside the exercises folder for our class, if you want to download those, if you haven't already. And there are several brushes inside those files. So I'm going to go up to the window menu and I'm going to go get the brushes palette. Here it is. Now, this particular file, week 5 brush practice, has these brushes preloaded. These are different kind of brushes. There are stipple brushes and calligraphic brushes. They're all different kinds of brushes. I pre-downloaded these hatch brushes. I'm going to show you how this works. So this path for the cat is on its own layer. And I'm going to turn on the draw inside tool. And then I'm going to go get the paintbrush. I'm going to choose a brush from the brush menu. I think I'll use this one. And then you can see, because I clicked on the cat has a black stroke and a black fill. But now that I have the brush tool, I don't need this black fill, so I'm going to set it to none. And I don't want a black stroke because the cat is black. If I start to paint with a black stroke, it won't show up. So I'm going to go in and pick a lighter color. I'll pick a dark gray. You can do this through the swatch menu. You can do this through the color picker, however you want to do it. Here's my brush. I'm drawing inside as the dotted lines show, and I'm going to just draw a rule. See the texture? Now, I'll go out of draw inside, and I'm going to go into keyline, Command Y. That rule that you can see right there, that's what has the brush stroke attached to it. And you can see that the brush stroke is highlighted. So I think I actually want this one. So let me turn Command Y. I'm going to switch from hatch 8 to hatch 1. And you can see, if I zoom in, this is more what I wanted. And because this is draw inside, if I use my direct selection tool, remember that I can adjust this, right? And then the other thing that I can do is that I can change the weight of the stroke. If I make the stroke thinner, see how the hatch gets smaller? So you have a lot of control over this. And then because this is the draw inside tool, if I come in with the draw inside tool, put my finger on the option key to select this line and drag it. See how I'm duplicating the line? Let me go back out of keyline mode so that I can, now I could have just used the brush tool, and draw another line. Or I could keep duplicating the lines the way that you can inside the draw inside tool. And if I make little dots, and I can build up quite a nice little crosshatch there. Create that feeling. Now, I'm not drawing inside right now, which is why I'm going over this, so I don't need to do that. I would need to go back and draw inside if I want this stuff inside the cat. So get back to the draw inside tool, get back to my brush. And again, I need to, when I click on this object, it says, oh, this object has a black fill. Clearly you want a black fill. And I say no. And this time I'll do an even lighter shade of gray and add it in and make that thinner. Grab that line, make it thinner. So you can really have a little fun with this and move it around. Put my finger on the option key and make a copy. You can build this up, and you can use all different kinds of brushes. These are just the brushes that I have. Now, this is part of my rant that I did. I'm going to keep working as I do this. I did this rant in class where I said, be careful. If you go online and you try and download a brush, because people make custom brushes all the time, but you'll go to a website and it'll say, I'm just going to keep working as I do this. I'm going to go get the paintbrush. Hang on. I'm going to do, why isn't that working? I'm going to see, I'm still drawing inside the cat. That's not what I want. I want to draw inside the blue frame. Anyway, if you go online and somebody says, oh, I have a free brush. You want a free brush? Click on the downloader to download the free brush, and it'll say it's free. It's absolutely free. That's how you get malware on your computer. By downloading random stuff to your computer, that's how you can get malware. So caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Don't just go online, go looking for brushes, and get duped into doing, the free, I'm making air quotes, Adobe brushes. And this is also true, you're going to hear me do this again when we talk about fonts. Don't get taken for a ride. All right, so let me keep going. I'm going to go into, I did this in class, I did this with the hosta plant. Draw inside, and again, I don't want to fill for the brush, I want to stroke. And I'm going to get a pale green, and I'm going to get the brush tool, and I'm going to choose, I'll choose that one, and I'll put in some highlights on the hosta leaves, right? And then I'll go in and I'll get some shadows, and I'll put the shadows, I'm going to be consistent about where I put my shadows and my highlights. If my light source is up and to the left, then the light is on top and the shadows on bottom. See that? And in about 10 seconds flat, you can really, so draw inside. I don't need a fill. I want a stroke. I'll do a nice dark shade. I'll choose my brush. I'll get my brush tool. I'll draw inside. All right? Now, you can get brush packs. You can buy them or you can get them for free. Please be careful. Please don't download junk. You want brush packs from people like Adobe and Envato, brand names that you can trust, not fly-by-night brush making. You can also make your own brushes, but we'll tackle that in week 8. But what I have included, this is in the exercise folder. If I open up this file, Artista Brushes, these are the brushes. And you'll notice that if I have the brush menu, B for brushes, if I open that up, they're all represented here in the palette. In the same way that colors are represented, you can represent a brush. If I decided that I liked this stipple brush or I liked this scatter brush and I wanted to bring it in to my cat file, all I have to do is copy it. Now, keep your eye over here on the brush swatches as I paste that in. Did you see it get pasted in? So as I pasted that sample in, I still have that blessed draw inside open, hang on. It shows up here in the palette. And here's something else you can do. In the same way that you can change strokes weights, you can change the brush weights. So once I have these all in here, I can go through and pick them. Let's say, for example, I had, let me see, I'm going to draw a circle. If I have a circle and I want it to have a certain one of these strokes, I can just go through here and add it around the side. Brushes are strokes. If you want a brush stroke inside a shape, you've got to put a stroke inside the shape. All right? Let me know if you have questions.